Hi there, my name is Sarah Minette, and I am a PhD student at Arizona State University, but I also teach full time at South High School in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So that's fun. I'm in my dissertation mode, so I'm just writing and researching right now. But Roger put a thing out on Facebook asking people to kind of talk about what they do in their popular music classes, and that's something that I've been working on the past 2 years in my job. So I thought I'd kind of share some of the things that I do with the students with whom I work. I was actually hired, I'm starting my third year at South High School this upcoming school year. And prior to that, I was a band teacher. I spent 11 years or 12 or something like that teaching band, mainly middle school band. And took a year off, went to Arizona and came back. But I was hired because our music team saw that our performance ensembles didn't really represent our student population. So I teach in a large urban school. Some people might call it an inner city school. There's about 2,000 students, highly, highly diverse in languages, in ethnicities, in genders, everything. I mean, it's a beautiful school. So what I do is I teach, I guess you'd call it secondary general music. I hate that term. I was actually at a session the other day and I said, oh, I teach secondary general music, and somebody's like, oh, you're the musical unicorn. And that made me really happy because I've been kind of in an identity crisis because we like to label things, and I don't really necessarily see myself as a general music teacher. I see myself as a music teacher. So throughout the year, I have the opportunity to teach beginning band. We have beginning band at our high school. Guitar, I have taught piano. I teach jazz band, and then I teach a new class this year called Hip Hop, Rock, and Beyond. And I'm actually working on putting my curriculum on my website for these classes so that people can have free access to those. They're living things, right? So I cater so much of what I do to the students with whom I work and where they're at in their musical journeys. So the first question that Roger asked me to talk about that is what is it? And I'm not 100% sure what that question means, like what is it? And I guess I'm going to interpret it as what is popular music pedagogy. And I guess I don't really see what I do as popular music pedagogy because what is considered popular music to me might not be considered popular music to 90% of my students. And the reason I say that is because 90% of my students are not from the United States. A lot of them are from Central America, South America, East and West Africa. So their version of popular music is very different than mine. So that being said, I try to incorporate as much of their music into the curriculum as possible, and it's not by me teaching it. It's by they themselves learning how to play the music. So I will have some examples for you. I'm going to include some videos of some of the students working this year. But that includes doing cover projects and for guitar. And one group of students wanted to learn a folk song from Ecuador because they're from Ecuador. And I don't know anything about traditional Ecuadorian music, so they did it on their own, and it was amazing to see what they brought up. That's their popular music. Also, keeping that Latina idea in mind, Ecuadorian students don't identify with mariachi music, and Mexican students don't necessarily always identify with mariachi music. Right now, a lot of the students are into bachata or la banda or corridos. Corridos are huge in my school. My students love, 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 love to play corridos. So they really like to play that. So even though we have a high Mexican population, mariachi is not something that they necessarily identify with. So again, that whole if we do a cover project, or when we do cover projects, or when they write their own music, it's often in that style of a corrido or bachata. So it's really kind of cool. Next question, how did it come to be? So again, my music team hired me because I was really passionate about working with students who aren't necessarily part of the band, choir, orchestra trifecta. And we wanted to create multiple access points for the students. So that was the main thing. When they hired me, I don't think they had an idea of what it was going to look like. They really put a lot of trust in me, which I'm really, really appreciative. So like my guitar class is not a guitar ensemble class. Other schools in our district have guitar ensembles, like 3 levels of guitar, and we have 2 guitar classes, but it's not at all about playing Bach or, I don't know, guitar choir stuff. It's all about creating their own music. It's all about expressing themselves through their own music. So we do a lot of writing, we do a lot of creating. We don't do hardly any standardized notation. We did not crack open a single method book this year, and it was actually really liberating. We did touch on some basic theory stuff, but the majority is students writing lyrics, rewriting lyrics, chords, and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to explain that if I don't like have the curriculum in front of me, which again I'm going to try to someday put together and put on my website. What music skills did I have coming into this? I don't play guitar. I was not hired for my guitar skills at all. And I am so honest with my students when I tell them that, like, by the end of this semester, you will be a much better guitar player than I am. And it's okay. Like, let's learn together. I've learned a lot from my students. And something I took away this past year and the year before, my first year, was that they're interested in learning their music. Let's put it that way. So again, the Ecuadorian students, the Mexican students, their way of playing guitar is very different than like a metal kid, or their way of playing guitar is very different than if somebody wanted to play classical guitar. There's a different sound, and I'm not going to impede what I think classical guitar should sound like. So I let them do their thing. It just kind of sounds like more twangy or something. I don't know. It's very rhythmic. It's really cool, and you'll see it in a video that I share with you. So I didn't have any guitar skills per se, but I had the skills of understanding how students learn and their desires to learn, and the understanding that what I want isn't necessarily what the students want, and it's not about what I want. It's about allowing the students their agency to permeate the room. What music skills did you develop or learn while a part of this? I have learned, I've become a better creator because I create with the students. I'm not sure music skills, but I've definitely become more aware of my own musical, what I'm lacking musically. Like, I wish that I would have had opportunities to create when I was younger, and that it wasn't put on such a pedestal, like you need to know how to write 4-part harmony before you can compose, or you need to be able to analyze this, that, and the other before you can compose, because students are composing. Students are composing the minute I put a guitar in their hand. The minute I put a guitar in their hand and say, okay, I just want you to like putz around with it and create and see what it sounds like, they're already creating. You know, I mean, it's very basic, but that's cool. And I'm not telling them anything to do. I'm not telling them how to sit or whatever. So it's not so much music skills that I've developed, but I've just developed a whole new way of thinking about what it means to be a learner and a teacher. And I think oftentimes I'm more the learner than the teacher. What is the future of this? So, like, my goal for our school, South High School, is to be like a model school, the both and school. Like, you can successfully have performing arts, but also offer all these other opportunities for students to create, and also embed that creating into their large group ensembles, which my colleagues are doing now more and more. it's just a beautiful thing, and why not? You know, I know I am I'm a saxophone player. I don't sit down and practice saxophone. I just don't do that anymore, unless I really really have to if I've got a gig coming up. But even then, I don't. But I sit down and putz around with the guitar a little bit, just because it's easier and it's more accessible. So I have a lot of hope for the future of this program, and I'm super excited to see how it grows because in 2 years that I've started the program, I mean, it's grown. I mean, we started with a Guitar 1 class, now we have Guitar 2, and now we have, this hip hop class and all these really, really cool things. Um, and I hope that we as a profession can really come to terms with this, that popular music culture is not delegitimatizing music education in any way. Music at one time, all music was popular, right? So we just kind of need to wake up and get our heads out of our butts and just realize that if we really want to keep this going, we need to get with the times. The students need to travel back in time. We need to catch up to the students. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me. I'm also going to put my website link on here. I love chatting with educators. I love Skyping in. So please feel free if you want to chat over Skype or whatever, FaceTime. I would be honored to do that with you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask me. I know this was supposed to be 5 minutes, Roger, but I'm super passionate about what I do, and it's really hard to condense a philosophical approach to music in 5 minutes. So thank you. Good luck with the rest of your summers, and hopefully I'll hear from some of you. Thanks. Bye.